Want to go through some information so far. We're at the halfway point pretty much of April, and we're seeing a bit of things off so far this way in the month compared to last year. So in the video, I'm going to do a breakdown where we are right now with sales, where we were last year at the same time, and kind of go through some listings to show you what is selling. We're going to look at some days on market on a couple. We're looking at some properties that are priced fairly well, show how quickly they sell when they're priced right for the market. And we've been saying this, and I've been seeing it for a year and a half now. It's a totally different market than it was back in 2022, and I'm not seeing that reflecting in today's listings in a sense. In the lower ranges, I am, but that's a pretty active range, and things sell quite well. But when you start getting up to 8 and above, there's some shifts and stuff like that. So you got to kind of look at last year as a guide, but don't price it over last year's pricing, because I'm kind of seeing it pretty much flat to last year. So let's take a look. I'm going to go through a couple things. So any questions, comments, please leave on the channel. And again, if this video is great for you, give it a like, follow for more information, and give it a share. So right now, we currently have 460 listings in Barrie, active listings. That's excluding condo. That's only freehold properties. I'm going to break down the inventory levels, and then I'll start talking about the graph more. Well, the graphs are here, but the numbers are on them more clearly if I talk about them. So you can see the legend. Right now, this is the solds. This is the blue is the solds in 2023, and the green is the active listings right now. So, of course, everything in the 6 to 7 range, even we saw it in March, we're seeing the same thing as we progress through April. Good sell-through. Almost at par from last year. There was 23 solds this year, and then last year there was 22. So pretty much the same inventory in a sense in that price range was selling almost apples to apples in a sense of, not going to say days on market, but transactions are very much the same. When I look at the active now, there's 51, I believe. Let me just double check that. 54 active listings in that category. For the month of March, we've seen 55. So if I'm looking at this, the halfway point, this is on target. I think we will surpass the amount of solds in that 600 to 700 range if we get some inventory. Again, there's some good inventory out there. It's selling very actively fast. So if we get replenished, I think we could sell more of it. When I look at the 7 to 8 range, it's telling me something a little bit different. So solds are 19. Blue is the solds last year at 2023 are 38. I'm seeing a bit of a shift. And when I even talk to that range as a March, where I'm looking at March, where we're seeing 62% of the product kind of selling in that range, it would be interesting to see if we see that. So we're seeing this at par right now. Again, we're only at the halfway point too, so we could see some more traction. I mean, I've seen it quite often. Meeting those targets, I think, can be achievable in some ranges, but I'm kind of showing you what I'm seeing right now. Inventory, sitting at, I'm going to go get my numbers here, just a little bit easier this way. 82 listings. So hot range still, 62% of the inventory is selling in that range. The other 38% isn't selling. And again, I'm not going to really dive through every listing and show why, but from my experience looking at the board quite often, many times throughout the day, I'm seeing still some bit of overpricing in that range, or it doesn't show as well as what's being priced in that range. So sellers, if you're looking at stuff and, look at listings, look what's listed on the board today. Look what's on the market. How do your property show in that price range if you can compare your property to a similar property? And, we're going to go through some solds here today, and we'll see some good presentation. It's still, it's really not a seller's market, even though people will disagree with me in a sense due to the inventory levels. But I really believe a lot of people should be really thinking presentation still and doing everything they can do to make that property stand out. 8 to 9. So 8 to 9 range sold 14 last year, 25. So it's off. So these ranges are off, a little bit higher than the 7, 8, which I would really think it would be reversed, right, from the 8 to 9. But, this range sells pretty good. I see some really good sales. When I see properties listed in that range and they're priced properly, they're gone in 5, 6 days, maybe 10 at best, depending on the area. But it's a pretty solid range. When I look at the 900,000 to $1 million, there were 6 properties that have sold. Last year, there was 11. So that range is off a little bit. We're seeing in that range, 50% of the inventory selling, 50% isn't selling based on March's numbers. So again, I asked the question, why isn't the other, what's going on with the other 50%? Is it the wrong locations? Is it price? Home isn't up to standard. There's many, many answers to that, to why it isn't selling. I'm a big believer it's price more than anything. Because if it's priced properly, even for the condition that it's in, possibly, it will still sell. We're seeing some in the higher ranges, longer days on market. I'm still seeing consistently 25 to 30 days, but I can show you multiple listings in higher ranges that are been listed 200 days and then finally got the right price. So just really keep that in mind. I can't stress that enough. You've heard me talk about it all the time in other videos. The 1 million to and above range, that's where all the inventory is. You can see it. This is, I think there was 154, I believe, in that range. 154 listings out of 460 are in that range. And we're only seeing in the March numbers, I'll talk about March numbers, 19% of the inventory selling. That's not very much. 81% is sitting there. And I'm telling you, it's been sitting there for a long, long, long time. So again, it's a range that you really have to pay attention to if you're in that range of currently listed or thinking of listing in the spring or summer, because you're competing with a lot of product. And when you only have on average 8 to 10 selling a month at best, and that's been a consistent number for many, many months, you got to make sure the price is proper. And I always say use the actives as a guide, because I see so many actives being on the board right now, and I pull up the history and I always talk about them. I'm telling you, I'm on my calculator adding them up, and they're triple digits. You don't want to be one of those properties that are triple digits. Don't really look at 2022 as a guide for pricing, because it was just a real blip. It was over the top in the pricing, and the demand and cheap money was there, so we knew why it got scooped up. But let's just go back. So at the 7 sold this year, and then last year there was 9, so fairly decent. So I'm seeing 10 on average a month. So I think that range will beat it. But I'm really surprised at this 7 to 8 range, kind of taking a back seat quite a bit. That range, that's a low range. I didn't expect to see that whatsoever. I expected more of that in this range, and we're seeing a bit of the opposite. So that 7 to 8 range, is it the right inventory that people want? I don't know. Did that buyer, that range, just put the brakes on a little bit and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to sell our house first before we go back. There's so many reasons for that, but that's a range that I did not expect to see. I'm going to jump over to the board. No, it's not it. Right here. So I want to go through a couple. I'm going to go back one page. Bird. This is a nice property on Bird that sold 774.9. When it first came up, I was kind of going 774.9. But after looking at the pictures, it shows pretty good. This is a decent size semi-detached property. Looks like it's just linked at the garage. The basement's not finished. I'm going to read the comments because I was quite impressed with the updates. Stunning semi-detached home in the city of Barrie, meticulously renovated, offering an unparalleled blend of modern elegance and functional living. Expansive 1,346 living space, boosted durable vinyl flooring, modern open concept kitchen is sure to impress with stainless steel microwave, shaker style cabinets, etc. Let's take a look at the pictures. But 40, they stood their ground with 42 days in that price range. But once you went through it and see it, I was pretty impressed with it. Great, lots of parking, couple cars easily, no sidewalk. We've done some nice updates in this. You fixtured. Kitchen's probably new or really updated, at least. I can see the new lighting, great pot lights. The floor, windows seem fairly new too, but I like the flow. It's really hard to find that semi-detached or townhouse property that is sizable today, that would accommodate a family of four, because so many new builds are out there that they've been built maybe 2 or 3 years ago with really small layouts. To me, they're not functioning. And remember, this is the price point, which is affordable by a lot of people. So we got to keep that in mind. There's more demand for lower price, and we can easily, we've gone through that many times on my videos. But I thought the home showed extremely well. Great upgrades, great presentation. They did it right. They spent some money on this, and good for them for sticking to the ground for 42 days without dropping it, in a sense, to get it. But you know what? I think $757 after looking at it, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that price, because you're paying for that upgrades. Finished basement. Not a finished basement, but decent layout, and you got a decent sized backyard. See 111 feet. Okay, I'm gonna just skip over here, and there's one more couple I wanted to show. Kind of want to give some in different price ranges. I really thought this one was good. I looked at it last week, and this listed 2 days. So here's a prime example of what I just finished talking about being, listed at the right price point. And this property sure was listed at the right price. 2,000 square feet to 2,500, 4 bedrooms, 2-piece in the main, 4-piece on the upper level, and a 3-piece on the second level as well. So probably not suite. No finished basement, but Taylor is a great street. It's in the Innisfil area, Bayshore, Innisfil. I call it Innisfil. Great school, mature area. People tend to stay in those neighborhoods many, many years. Like it's almost like when I was about to say an older demographic, but it's kind of going that way, in a sense. The 55, 60 group that's been raising a family there, kids have grown up, went to university, moved on. They're still there. And I used to live, just around the corner, and I know lots of my friends are still on that street with their kids gone. It's such a great family neighborhood. To me, it's one of the best in Barrie. So let's take a look when we see a property priced properly for the market. It sells, especially if someone probably wanted this area. This area is 20 to 23 years old. I don't love the color tones, but I like the price for that property in the area. You can see it needs a bit of updates in certain areas, but I say mainly paint. Flooring is in good shape. Maybe some work in the bathroom, but decent price point for that area. I thought it was well priced. Let's go to one more. I will talk about this one. I did want to talk about another one, but oh no, it was Wildwood I wanted to talk about too. Let me just check here. Yeah, what was that? 26 Blue Water. Okay, let's go on this one. But I do want to talk about this other one, Taylor, because I love the property. Another great location, just close to Taylor, listed for $1,099,000, sold for $1,095,000. But on that property, originally started at 1.2, then they reduced it to $1,150,000, and it was 65 days on market. So 2.5 months to figure out the right price point. Blue Water's a great street. I tell you, it's one of my favorites. So here's Blue Water here, and you kind of go right down here in Wilkins Trail and Beach. it's such, and there's Lake Simcoe, Campbell Bay. You go down here and it's a beautiful little beach. A lot of the neighborhood people use it. It never gets crowded. It's not like it's a public beach, of course, but it just doesn't, you're not going to walk down there and see 60 people. If you see 3 or 4 on an average, you're pretty good. But nice 2-story house, great location, family neighborhood, schools just around the corner, walking distance. But there's the point where we started at a 1.2. Let me just go back. I want to jump back a bit and see the square footage. So 2,000 square feet to 25, same as the one on Taylor. You heard me talk up how good of a price point that one was. No finish. So same side of the house, big difference, and really not that far apart. It's just a street. If it's a kilometer at best. But see, you got a pool in the backyard. But closer to the water, which makes a big difference. Pool in the backyard, different layout. I like this layout a lot better. More open, great looking kitchen. But at 1.2, no. This one shows a little bit more updates for sure. Decent backyard, great for entertaining. There's the Wilkins Beach. Right down there, folks, is that beautiful little beach. So it's the location. There it is. I'm glad they put this in because it's nice to always talk about it, and it's nice to see some pictures. So there we go with a property that was kind of, priced for a little bit above the market. Took a while to get the pricing down to where it was, seen fit, and then it sells. I want to go. This one was listed for some time. Like I remember they started off at 1.4 and selling for $1,042,000. And it took several, I forget the days on market. I've talked about it prior on my videos. I just thought they did a fantastic job in this house. You're going to see 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. So 3 properties we were reviewing. Same square footage, same neighborhood, 2 stories, all brick. This one is renovated. Like, beautiful job. From the outside to the inside, everything's been done. But it wasn't a 1.4, right? When you look at, this would be a 1.4. I really believe this could have been a 1.4 probably in 2022 in Feb. But no, I think the right price where they got for it at $1,070,000 is the right price for today's market. But extensive renovations done. Very nice home. So again, I can't stress, price it for today's market. Like, they've touched everything. Finer details in this house are outstanding. And if anyone has any, questions on neighborhoods, or leave a comment. If you want me to do some kind of video for it, I've been doing lots of video requests for people and post them on the channel for them too. Happy to do it. But nice looking property. There's one more I wanted to show. I think I wrote it down here. Let's go back. I think it was on Wildwood. 1,500 square foot, 2,000 bungalow. Another great street. 999 sold for 980 in 5 days. I pulled the history on it, and it hasn't been listed before. So it talks about pricing it the right way the first time. Okay. Newer stone front entrance, walkway, in-ground heated pool, and 2 decks. Let's take a look at it. Love the street to death. It is one of the best neighborhoods in Barrie. I think I picked the right inventory for the best neighborhoods in Barrie today, because you're seeing them all now. I mean, this area is 20-some plus, needs a bit of updating. Big kitchen. Great price for that neighborhood, because homes are in there 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 5, 6. So there's all detached in there. It's just such a great neighborhood. Need a lot of carpet in the home, but you know what? It was the right price. I'll say that. It needs some updating. Let's see this pool. Well, too bad I can't see it. Well, yeah, this area offers so much. Like, it's such a great area. Wish we had that pool opened up. But anyway, folks, any questions on where we are for middle of April? I think we're good in some ranges, and kind of 7-8 range kind of shocks me a little bit. Then I didn't expect to see that so far this early into the month. So questions, reach out. Talk soon.